Well, it's happened. I've got a plumbing problem at my own house. Yes, a piece of my bidet broke off, and I didn't realize it until I'd already flushed the toilet, getting it caught within the trapway. So now I'm going to address that, and I'm going to show you exactly how you unclog the toilet, so that if you've lost a piece of a bidet, or perhaps a little one in your home has flushed a nightlight or a little Tykes toy, you'll know how to clear it. Now, fair warning, if you are squeamish and the idea of seeing the contents of a used toilet bowl makes you sick, this might not be the video for you. In which case, thank you for showing up. I hope you take time to watch some of my other content, but feel free to move along to another video. This is a real job with real consequences. Now, if you're here because you're trying to learn how to address this problem, or perhaps you've had this problem happen and you're trying to figure out how to take care of it right away, well, I think this is going to be a good video for you. I'm going to show you step by step exactly what we do and what's needed. With that said, we'll start with the tools involved. I'm using a Milwaukee trap snake. I absolutely love this tool. It's powered, it uses Milwaukee's M12 battery platform, and you don't have to wear your arms down. That's kind of a big deal if you're someone like me who does this pretty regularly, or maybe if you're somebody who's got some weaker stamina and you just would rather press a button than constantly be cranking onto a lever. I'm going to provide a link for this tool in the video description. However, because I know this is also a more expensive option and is going to be overkill for some of you, I'm also going to provide a budget-friendly option, as well as another high-quality, what I will call a professional tool that's going to land in between the two prices. The only other things that you're likely to need for this job is a pair of gloves, paper towels, and I like to have a 5-gallon bucket handy just to set my auger into when the job's complete. That way we avoid any kind of spills or wetness. So without further ado, let's get started. First thing we're going to do is open up the toilet seat. And I like to fill the toilet bowl as much as I can without overflowing. So I'm going to hold down the lever just slightly and let it do its thing. In this case, the toilet went ahead and did a partial flush. Most of the contents are getting past the blockage, so it's not necessarily going to fill up all the way for me. Usually, if your toilet's completely without water in the bowl, it's a good idea to let some fill back in, but of course be careful not to let it overflow. Now we're going to grab our snake or our closet auger. I'm going to pop off the cable, stick it into the bucket, and I'm going to pull to retract the cable completely into the tool. With the cable retracted into the tool, you see we have a rubbery bend at the bottom. This portion is designed to protect your porcelain bowl from getting scratched. So you want to carefully insert the auger so that the cable head goes beyond the visible surface of the porcelain. It's not going to really cause a problem if it gets scratched up, and there's really no way to avoid scratches within the trapway when you're doing this job. But you want to keep those scratches where they won't be visibly seen and be an eyesore. With the Milwaukee trap snake, all I have to do is hold and press this button right here. That's going to cause the cable to rotate constantly, and then I'll just be going back and forth. As it does so, we're either going to bust through the broken piece of the bidet, and it may just flush itself through the system, or it may perhaps grab onto it and retract it and pull it back. In my experience, the auger typically will push through most blockages, but it sometimes will retrieve it as well. Now, if you have a different style closet auger, you may not have this button. You'll probably have a hand crank, in which case you're going to want to rotate it clockwise. You're going to want to go as fast as your body's able to allow you to, but also make sure you're keeping a pace that you can do consistently. It may take a little bit of effort before you power through with a manual. We're going to go ahead and extend this snake internally so that we can go further on down the line. Most augers will allow you to do this, however, not all are as simple as the Milwaukee. So we've got this little ball bearing here that we're just going to press into position, and then we're going to pull the entire snake upwards, and there will be another hole for that ball to pop into, basically latch itself in place. That's pretty standard design. Now what Milwaukee does differently is we have this piece here that we're actually going to pull back, and that's going to lock on to the entire auger. So now this auger is locked in so that when we push this bearing in and start pulling, it's not going to take the entire snake and bring it with us. It's still got it locked down so that we're really only pulling this outer portion. So now we have the bearing in place at the lower hole. We're just going to push this back down, and that's going to unlock the auger. I believe I got pushed through the blockage, so at this point I'm going to go ahead and do the reverse. I'm going to lock this tool into position, press the little ball bearing, and push down on the auger. Latched in place, unlock, and pull it back up. With the toilet unclogged, I like to then take some rolls of toilet paper, clump them up, put them into the bowl. This will essentially simulate use, and we can go ahead and test it and make sure we do a nice full flush. Great job! Now you know how to unclog your toilet. Oh, that? Sometimes your toilet will get a little bit smaller when you do this work. Okay. Actually, I have a slight confession to make. This toilet was clogged, and everything I just taught you and showed you how to unclog the toilet is exactly what you need to do, and it's going to work, I would say 99% of the times that the clog is within the toilet itself. Unfortunately, this one in my house ended up being one of those 1% times where it's going to be more involved. The piece that got lodged within the trapway of my toilet was actually a pretty large piece, and what occurred was every time I was running my auger through, my auger would push past it but not grab onto it or push it through. The next step to addressing this would have been to pull the toilet, remove the tank from the toilet bowl, relocate the bowl outside or in another controlled environment where I can then flip it upside down and run my auger through reversed, and then I'll be able to push that piece back out from where it came from. I would then reinstall the tank, you usually have to use new gaskets and hardware, and reinstall the toilet bowl. However, this would have been a lot of work to do when I already wanted to replace the toilet. So I ended up with a new toilet instead. But in most situations, if you're trying to learn how to run a closet auger through a toilet, everything we just discussed, that's going to get it taken care of for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. You have a great day.